Hi everyone, we're going to talk again today about the rule of threes, which, as you remember, discusses what three substances do human beings need to stay alive. And as you remember, we said they are food, water, and air, specifically oxygen gas, right? And in the rule of threes, it says that we can live 3 weeks without food because your body's made of food. After a couple days, your body's going to start to eat itself. It's going to digest itself. And you can live 3 days without water. But after that, you're going to run into trouble. You're going to be too dehydrated. And we can only live 3 minutes. That's 180 seconds without air or oxygen, right? And that's because your brain requires so much energy that with only 3 minutes of being deprived of air, we can't make enough energy molecules to keep the brain alive. And that energy molecule we are talking about is ATP, which stands for adenosine triphosphate, right? The adenosine part is over here. That's an adenosine molecule. And then we have 1, 2, 3 phosphorus atoms with the oxygens. That makes a phosphate group, so it's triphosphate on an adenosine. How do we make that out of the rule of threes ingredients, food, air, and water? Well, here's kind of the recipe that we have. This is the biochemical pathway, but we can't talk about this. That's too complicated. Let's talk about it in terms you know. You know, if you ever have grown a plant, that plants undergo photosynthesis. And in order to do that, they take water plus sunlight energy, right? You know you have to give it to a plant. And from that, they are going to make glucose and oxygen as waste products. That's what photosynthesis does. And you know that human beings can't just go in the outside and be given water and sunlight and stay alive. Human beings have to take the output of photosynthesis, glucose, to eat. We have to take the output of photosynthesis, oxygen gas, and from that we make our own energy molecule called ATP that we just saw in the last slide. And interestingly enough, water becomes a waste product for us, as is CO2. So you can see that this process that we run is called aerobic respiration. And all we are doing in aerobic respiration is we are running photosynthesis backwards. That's all we're doing in our biochemistry. And you can see it requires water, oxygen, and glucose, the rule of threes. Now you might be saying, wait a minute. How come we have to drink water? We need to have it as an intake when we create it as a waste product. What is going on with that? Well, let me tell you, it has to do with something called enzymes, which are little protein molecules that break down your food that cannot work properly if they don't have water. But that is the subject of our next lesson, so stay tuned and we'll learn about the story of water and enzymes. Thanks for your attention.